Settle into your bed, allowing your body to gently relax into the softness beneath you. Take a deep breath in, slowly filling your lungs with calm, and as you exhale, let go of any lingering tension in your body. With each breath, imagine your muscles becoming heavier, more at ease, and your mind beginning to soften. You've had a long day, but now it's time to let go of it all. Let the world outside fade into a peaceful stillness and allow yourself to drift, to wander, to rest. In this moment, you are safe, you are calm, and you are ready for the gentle journey into sleep. Now, let me tell you a story of a toy shop where magic and wonder fill the air, and every corner holds a quiet invitation to rest. The Sleep Story, in a small, quiet town tucked away between rolling hills and vast forests. There was a toy shop unlike any other. It stood at the corner of a cobbled street, nestled between an old bakery and a quaint little bookstore. The building itself was a cheerful sight, with warm yellow lights glowing through the windows and soft music floating out into the street. The sign above the door, Whimsy's Toy Emporium, but those who knew it well called it simply Whimsy's, a place where time seemed to slow and the world beyond its walls faded into the background. Inside, the air smelled faintly of wood and just a hint of lavender, like the scent of a dream waiting to unfold. The shelves were lined with toys of every kind, stuffed animals with stitched smiles, wooden trains that clicked and clacked, dolls with curly hair and dresses in every color. There were wooden puzzles that seemed to come to life as you solved them, and blocks that stacked higher than you ever thought they could. But the most magical part of Whimsy's wasn't the toys themselves. It was the sense of peace that hung in the air, like a secret shared between the toys and those who took the time to visit. The shopkeeper, an elderly woman with silver hair and a gentle smile, was always there, standing behind the counter. Her name was Mrs. Whimsy, and she was as kind and soft-spoken as the toys she tended to. Each evening, after the last customer had left, she would take a moment to walk through the aisles, admiring the toys with a knowing look, as though she could hear their quiet stories. One evening, as the soft glow of the streetlights outside began to stretch into the shop's windows, Mrs. Whimsy found herself tidying up a corner of the shop when something unusual caught her eye. In the back of the shop, nestled between a shelf of plush bunnies and a small wooden rocking horse, a small forgotten toy sat. It was a tiny handcrafted bear, stitched with care from soft golden fabric, and it had a little scarf wrapped around its neck. Its eyes, made of tiny, sparkling beads, seemed to twinkle in the dim light. Mrs. Whimsy smiled gently, walking over to the little bear. It had been there for as long as she could remember, though it had never found its way into anyone's hands. It sat quietly, waiting, just as all the toys did, with an unspoken patience. Mrs. Whimsy sat down beside it, brushing the dust off its tiny scarf, and for a moment, she simply looked at it. She wasn't in a hurry. There was no rush. The shop was calm, the evening settling around her like a soft blanket, and she felt a peaceful silence fill the room. It was then that she realized, with a soft chuckle, that all the toys in the shop had a rhythm of their own. Each had its own personality, its own way of inviting rest. And she too had come to embrace this rhythm over the years, the gentle pace of the toys, the soothing atmosphere they created, and the comforting space they provided for anyone who stepped through the door. The old clock ticked away, each sound echoing in the stillness, marking the passage of time, but the room felt timeless. The wooden floors creaked softly underfoot, the shelves stood steady and quiet, and the little bear sat in its corner, waiting for the right moment to be noticed. As the night grew deeper, Mrs. Whimsy decided it was time to close for the evening. She turned off the lights and walked to the door, casting one last glance over the room. The toys were all in their places, settled in for the night, as if they too had grown tired and needed rest. With the door closed and the shop wrapped in peaceful darkness, something curious began to happen. The toys, once still and silent, began to stir. The stuffed animals shifted in their cozy corners. The wooden trains hummed softly, and the dolls with the curly hair whispered quiet secrets to each other. It was the moment when all of Whimsy's magic came to life, but it wasn't a loud, boisterous magic. It was a quiet, gentle kind of magic. In the soft glow of the moonlight that filtered through the window, the little golden bear stood up, stretching its tiny limbs. It padded quietly across the shop, its soft paws making no sound on the floor. It was searching for something, but not for very long. There, at the very front of the shop, on the shelf where the most beloved toys were kept, there was a little space just waiting for the bear. It climbed onto the shelf and settled in, curling up on a small, soft cushion that was just its size. The other toys glanced up, noticing the small bear had found its place at last, and a feeling of peace filled the air once more. It was as if the entire shop was taking a deep, collective breath, ready for the night ahead. Outside, the town was quiet. The stars twinkled softly overhead, and the streets were empty, save for the occasional rustle of leaves in the breeze. Inside Whimsy's, the toys rested in their quiet magic, waiting for the morning, waiting for the next visit from someone who needed a moment of peace. And in that moment, everything felt just right. Now, as the toys drift into their own dreams, and the peaceful magic of the shop fills the room, allow yourself to be carried into the quiet stillness of sleep. Let the calm rhythms of the night surround you, just as they surrounded the little golden bear. Take a deep breath in, and as you exhale, let your body relax even further. Feel yourself sinking gently into the warmth of your bed, the world outside slowing down, and the quiet comfort of rest embracing you fully. Sleep has come to you just like the soft, quiet night at Whimsy's, and as you drift deeper into slumber, know that you are safe, you are peaceful, and everything is as it should be. Sweet dreams.